First I have to figure out how many moles. So there's my conversion factor, 18.02 grams of water in 1 mole of water. Make sure my units cancel out. Now, 1 mole of water, my conversion factor is 6.01 kilojoules per mole, so that's expressed right there. Now, I have to keep going because, again, I've got kilojoules here, and my units are in joules. So 1 kilojoule is 1,000 joules. Now I have joules as left over as my unit, and there's the answer. Now I go on to the third part of the graph, right here, where I'm taking the liquid water to the final temperature here of 100 degrees. There's my weight of water. Now I have to grab the specific heat of water, which you already know is 4.18 joules per gram per degree Celsius. And the delta T here is we're going from 0 to 100. So that's going to be 100 degrees Celsius, which will give me a figure. The amount of heat that it's needed to change this water's temperature from 0 to 100 is 6.90 times 10 to the 4 joules. Now I'm on to segment 4. I'm going to be using this same sort of calculation for the graph section 4. So here's the weight of the water. I need to find out how many moles I have. So there's my mole conversion. 1 mole of water has a delta H of vaporization of 40.7 kilojoules per mole. So there's my calculation there. Have to convert back into joules. And there's my answer. One last little bit to do. Same formula I've been using all along. You can see that when you've got a tilted part of the graph, you're going to be using this formula. When you have a flat area of the graph, you're going to be using this formula. And this is just using dimensional analysis calculations. So here we are, 165 grams times the specific heat of steam. I'm getting that right off my chart here. And I'm only moving at 3 degrees Celsius. I'm going from 100 to 103 degrees Celsius, so delta T of 3. Calculate this out. Now I've got all 5 parts. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Add them together, and that's the amount of energy it's going to take to move 165 grams of ice that's at -5 degrees Celsius, changing it into steam that's at a temperature of 103 degrees Celsius. A lot of little steps in this calculation, but you're doing the same thing over and over again. You're just looking at your line, inserting the correct calculation, and moving on to the next one. All right, let's see if you are ready to practice. There's nothing for you to write down here. You don't have to worry about taking one of your practice ones. We'll be practicing this together at the practice station.